Welcome to the PFFUI podcast. On this month's episode, President Tony Murray is joined by the regional coordinators of the PFFUI Peer Support Network to discuss the program and services offered to members across the state of Indiana. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the PFFUI podcast. My name is Eric Shoib, and I'm joined today, as always, by President Tony Murray. Hey, Tony, how are things going today?
Things are going very well today, Eric, as always.
We're talking today about something that is very important to the PFFUI and its membership, and that is the newly formed PFFUI Peer Support Network. Tony, could you please share some more information on this initiative and its importance?
Absolutely. So the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana had a concept to address an issue, and that issue is not unique to any one person, individual, or anybody in public safety, and that is helping to support our peers in the time of need for behavioral health issues, for high stress issues, for critical incidents, all that things that are experienced. And one of the driving forces was in this concept of the PFFUI Peer Support Network in creating this was to really identify sources and resources, I think, to help our members when they reach out for help. So we're going to talk a lot today, I think, in a lot of detail about what exactly the Peer Support Network is, what the intent is. But the vision here is something for our members to know that their union is addressing their need. And we've had other podcast episodes where we've talked very specifically about some of the issues and some of the needs of our members across our state when it comes to needing support. So I'm happy and pleased to launch this program through this podcast, and I think that we're going to get some good details today.
Tony, what are some things you have seen from across the state of Indiana over the last few years to see the need for the Peer Support Network? Not every local has their own peer support team, correct?
Correct. And I think what I've seen is, so first things first, so that we've always had a high-stress environment, critical incidents, always in this field. But first things first, the first thing is we've worked to really destigmatize the issue of asking for help. And so by doing that, now we have members who are readily available or readily seeking out resources to help with their behavioral health, with their overall health, and that's a piece of that. So what I'm seeing is across the state, through our efforts and the efforts of the IAFF and just society in general, but our union has really taken the very direct approach to say we're gonna destigmatize this, and we're gonna get our people healthy on all levels of health, and behavioral health is one of those things. So that's what I'm seeing. And in a response to that, when people are, and our members are in need of, maybe that's counseling, or maybe that is some services to deal with addiction, or, a high stress call, or things that are going on in the family domain, they need to have reliable resources and recommendations of vetted professionals. And I think that that's really important. So part of the Peer Support Network is not only to help create teams where locals want to and need to create teams, but also to provide a list of vetted clinicians that are culturally competent in our world. So when sometimes it is the hardest thing to take that first step to enter into a relationship with a counselor to try to help, yourself and help yourself and your family and your career. So having those vetted resources, I think, is really helpful. And then also to create a network, and it's all in the name of the Peer Support Network, what we're calling this. So much of what we do in the fire service and AMS is about networking with each other and sharing resources and coming to the table to bring whatever is needed for our brothers and sisters at whatever time. So that's sort of what I'm seeing out across the Hoosier land.
So as this network is launched today or this month, who is at point of contact for the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana?
So as we've looked at the mission here, we've brought together a really strategic group of people. And one of those persons here with us is also a very dedicated union member and a great resource to us, and that's Tim Gallagher. And Tim Gallagher has put a lot of work into this, and he's going to introduce the others too that have been working on this creation of the PFFUI Peer Support Network over time, and how their specific experiences with their own locals really kind of brings the spirit of what the network is about to the table. So I really want to kick it over to Tim Gallagher, who's here with us today and has been really the driving force of keeping this going and helping us meet our mission. So great for you to be here today, Tim.
Thank you, Tony and Eric, for having me here and having the team here today. We're honored to be able to do this and to provide services for our brothers and sisters that are out here across the state. And that's what we kind of look for. When you presented us this mission originally, we wanted to really expand the services that we had here and across and bring it together to everybody, right? We wanted representation across the state from members all over from each district. So we have Patrick Westbury from District 1. We've got James Knoll from District 2, Daryl Adler from District 3, Brandon Dryman, who is going to be down helping in District 3 and helping in District 6. Kevin Livingston is going to be helping in District 5. So we've got members that live and work in these districts that are going to be what we call the district coordinators that are going to be helping out as the network coordinators.
All of these people, Tim, not to interrupt, but all of these people are no strangers to helping out their brothers and sisters in this area, whether formally now or, informal.
Absolutely.
Back when we all, sort of were trying to figure this out, years ago, a decade or more.
Absolutely. And they're on the call today, and I'm going to have each of them introduce themselves and kind of give the background. And if we could, we'll go ahead and we'll start with them, if that's fine. If Patrick from District 1, Patrick, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Patrick Westbury. I'm a lieutenant with Maryville Fire Department, Local 5489. I'm in my 22nd year of the fire service now. I've been in peer support officially for the last 16 months, but this one has been kind of hit heavy with me, not only because of the line of work that we do, but my father was also a peer supporter years ago. He was involved in an officer-involved shooting, so that was one of the triggering forces for developing our teams up here in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely, and so important. And that family connection that you have is huge. And Jim, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, I'm Jim Knoll. I've got 37 years altogether in the fire service. I spent 31 of those years, 31 and a half, with the city of Fort Wayne. Retired as a captain out of Fort Wayne. I'm still a union member with Local 124 in Fort Wayne, even though I work for a department that's part of Local 124, which is East Central Fire and EMS territory. I've been part of the Northeast CISM team, which was it's one of the longest running CISM teams in Indiana, starting in 1989 is when they started. I joined that team in 1998, and that's where I kind of got my bearings of understanding, not just being an academy instructor also a few times, but also understanding the occupational hazards that come along with the job. And in a lot of the presentations I do, I talk about those occupational hazards. It's just not physical. And I kind of push real hard on that on the education side. We really didn't have a lot of buy-in in Fort Wayne when it came to peer support or CISM for the last 10 or 12 years now. That push is still there. So I'm kind of hoping this program helps us help them. I'm looking forward to working with a lot of the locals in the District 2 area, as I know a lot of those people already. I'm looking forward to this group and be able to keep this momentum going the best we can.
Fantastic. And now Brandon Dryman is moving down to the Evansville area, and he's going to be helping Daryl and Brandon. If you want to go ahead, sir.
Yeah, what's up, brothers? Thanks for having this discussion. I'm honored to be a part of it. So I have spent the last 23 years in Indianapolis with the Indianapolis Fire Department, Local 416. I've been involved with Fire EMS for 33 years now. I got started when I was 16 down at Vincent's as a junior firefighter with a volunteer fire department down there, Vincent's Township, and spent the last 7 years as the coordinator of wellness and support for Indianapolis, building out what, in my opinion, is the premier peer support program in the United States and Canada. We've done a great job building that out. And as we've discussed this and figuring out how can we start to bring those services and that attitude statewide has been an exciting thing. As you noted, I am short timing it with Indianapolis right now. I've got about a week and a half left as we record this, and I will be moving down to Evansville. So I'll be helping Daryl down in the 3rd District. Daryl, member of the Evansville Fire Department, Local 357. So I'll be helping him out, also working in the 6th District to start building out programming there. I do a fair amount of work with the International as well as a peer support instructor and as a resilience instructor. I also do some work with the International presenting on suicide intervention and suicide prevention, as well as discussing topics on sleep for the International. I'm also on the International's crisis response team, primarily with firefighter suicides. So an agency or a local will lose a brother or sister to suicide. They're currently overwhelmed or they don't have a peer support program in place, we'll muster a team through the International and have boots on the ground probably within 24 hours to start that progress or that system to get them the resources that they need. So we look at the state level and how we can build that out so that if locals find themselves in that position or with brothers and sisters in need, how can we build this umbrella of support statewide so we can help each other out when that need arises? And that's what I really hope we discussed today and what we're able to build out. And President Murray is doing a fantastic job spearheading this and making it a priority. And we're truly blessed to have that in place. And I'm honored to be a part of this conversation.
We have kind of come up with a mission statement that after we came up with it, President Murray, helped us kind of finish it up. And I'd like to read it to for us today. And basically, it's the PFFUI Peer Support Network is dedicated to fostering a culture of trust and confidentiality, providing unwavering support to our membership statewide. Through outreach initiatives, we strive to create a safe space for open dialogue, offering education and resource to promote mental health, awareness, resilience, and personal well-being within our firefighter, EMT, paramedic, and 911 dispatcher family. So as you touched on earlier, Tony, it's so important for us, especially as we're combating the stigma, as folks are reaching out finally for these resources, that we as this network, when they reach out, that we have something to give back. And that's the importance of what we're trying to do here. We're here to provide them with the clinical resources that they're after. We're here to do our due diligence to provide them those services, to provide them those lists, and that's what we're working on together.
And this is, something that, too, that always comes to mind is, so much of it in our work, union work, we work to get the right tools, the right programmings, address safety issues, make, this inherently dangerous occupation a little more safer where we can, train on things. Where all of these things are important, but, we have identified that, this is also a need, and I sort of translate what we're doing and what you all are doing as meeting the needs to provide a tool. When you get hurt on the job and, you get care, right? And there's no different. And we are making sure that this is a priority issue for our union members. Here that we provide and advocate for the proper care. If we're going to ask people to do things and put themselves in harm's way, we want to be able to provide and make sure that there is a system to help pick them up and fix when they break. Right?
Right. Absolutely. And that's what we're here for. And so for this, for our group, we've established some goals that we're trying to bring forward, and we've talked about this, and the first one is we're trying to work with and gathering resources for the districts that we serve. And each of our districts are going to have common goals, but each district is going to have some varying, different resources that are available specific to where they're at. And each of our district coordinators are very good at what they do. They already have resources in place, but it is going to be, how we can, share that resource within that network. The second goal is sharing that resource list and the clinical providers between the districts. If they've got some great facility or great clinician that may be offering telehealth or something like that, that's something that we can share amongst ourselves to get guys the better resources. The third one is vetting these new clinicians and these new facilities in our districts and on a national level. If I know about some place, say in Utah or Colorado or Florida or wherever, I want to share that with these other members that may not have either the resources to travel to visit those places or the knowledge of these places in order to send these brothers and sisters to them in order to get the treatment that they need.
We've already been doing that a little.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's good to point out that, I get calls from new facilities that are coming online and just saying, hey, we're here. This is the population we serve, et cetera, et cetera. And before we just, we don't want to necessarily provide a list and without any knowledge if it's coming from this organization, from this union. So I've already utilized unit capacity and other members of the network team to go and look at places and then make a recommendation, so that there is some background information, because this is sort of the crux of what we're talking about here in locals. If locals want to start or expand or, this is all new to them, the PFFUI has really been sort of the cornerstone of making sure that our locals have the resources, and this is no different. We're putting the A team, here in the field, on the field, to help us with this issue of peer support.
Absolutely, and you've already set us forth for that very mission, like you're talking about. You've put us out there. You've given us these ideas of what you want and how you want us to proceed with these things, which has been great. Again, providing for our brothers and sisters that out there that are at their most critical time of need, when they reach out, that they need these services. So, so the other part of this too is we're bringing education opportunities to the locals. Places that don't necessarily have a peer team, how do they get started? What can they do to start a team, and not even necessarily start a team, but how to get one or two members trained? And that's the first step, right? And then how do we do that?
Where we've had, just as another example to that, and we've had a lot of locals that have brought in IFF peer support training to their local. We try to be that group that also helps where we can with support, whether that be financial grant support or scholarship,
absolutely,
to bring that training and make that available, because there's a cost associated with it. And oftentimes we have departments that support that, help pick up. We have, elected decision makers that have helped pick up that funding, because it's so important. That's part of what they see as supporting, firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics in their communities. But we also broadcast that information to make sure that those that wouldn't otherwise know that these classes are going on, that they see, the communication from the PFFUI. So we really have been focusing on that as well. And I see that continuing as you guys do your work and let us know how we can support that.
Right. And then the last piece is going to be providing that communication that you just touched on, right? Working with the PFFUI's comms team to get this information out to the membership, both upstream and downstream. Locals that have needs, they can reach out to us to get that information out, both to and from, is going to be so important. And then, working with the membership to provide that stuff. So, I've got a great team, or we have a great team. These folks are so committed to this program, and that's where we're at with this.
And a lot of experience.
A ton of experience. So, yeah, absolutely. This we're talking 100 years of experience just with these 6 people that are on this team.
1. What are the next steps of implementing the peer support network?
So for our peer network, we have some upcoming education opportunities, and I'll let Jim answer that and kind of elaborate.
Yeah, so one of our big initiatives is education. I mean, if you don't understand, we're not going to get people on board, and then us to educate our members the same way. So, the state union has put together a working with the international for an online peer support course that anybody in state unions would be able to sign up for. Would be December 2nd to the 4th. And later on in the first quarter of 25, we should have an in-person peer support training put on by the international. And that's a 2-day program. And then that would be funded by the state union. But this is just to supplement a lot of the training that a lot of the locals are already putting on. I know that a lot of them are still pushing and bringing peer support to their departments, along with resiliency, and we'll continue to keep pushing that forward.
To view the contact information for the Peer Support Network, visit www.pffui.com. Under News and Information, find the header that says Indiana Peer Support Network. As we design our new website over the next few weeks, check back for more information.
Can I mention just one thing? So at our convention this past May, we had a resolution that was adopted on the floor that essentially creates a Center of Excellence trust committee to study what it may look like to help when we have members go out to the Center of Excellence for inpatient treatment, how we can help those members support some of the incidental costs that are not part of, reimbursed, healthcare expenses and things like that. So that committee actually met yesterday, and they're producing their report, which will come back to the next convention when we are in Fort Wayne in 2025.
It's fantastic. I think they're going to do some great work for us.
All right. Well, I wanted to thank Tim, Patrick, Brandon, and Jim for joining us today and to be doing the good work of providing support to our members. And I know that it's going to be a big value to our members moving forward.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to listen and join us today. Also, we had Daryl Adler from Evansville that wasn't able to join us, and then Kevin Livingston from Hamilton County wasn't able to join us on the call today. But I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you guys for the time that you've already invested and your commitment and passion to taking care of our members. I think that this is a tremendous move in the right direction. So thank you, and I know that you're going to be impactful to so many of our members across Indiana. Thank you. And I think too, for members, if they don't know, they may not know what district they're in or who, what that looks like. They can always contact their district vice president. And we're going to make this information too available to local presidents as well. That's oftentimes the first stop in any question that comes up is through your local president. So we'll make sure that we get this information out for sure.
Absolutely. And then, too, we want to remind folks, too, that we as network coordinators are also peer supporters. And if you are having an issue or need help at any time, please feel free to reach out to any of these network coordinators, because at the very least, we're all peer supporters, and we're here for you, our brothers and sisters, at any time to help out.
Thank you for listening to the PFFUI podcast. Follow us on social media by searching the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana. For more information about news and upcoming events, visit www.pffui.com. Until next time, this is PFFUI Communications Director Eric Shoaib. Stay safe.